This is my Ngurrampaa Journal flowing through each weekly topic using Aboriginal animal track symbols. Week 1 showed me the importance of knowing where you are from and your country and having a meaningful connection with it, hence why I have written meaningful connection to country. This is the core of who you are, which is why it is so profound in education for Aboriginal and Indigenous students. In Western cultures, we introduce ourselves by stating what we do for work, but this does not define who we are. For example, you aren't a teacher, you do teaching. In Aboriginal culture, they introduce by asking where they are from or who their mob is, as this gives us an idea of who we are, what you do, and your morals. This is what defines you. Week 2 introduced me into the differences in Aboriginal and Western pedagogy. Western culture focuses on formal methods such as using textbooks or written assessments, whereas Aboriginal culture utilises experiential and contextual learning methods such as storytelling and hands-on activities, for example yarning circles and painting. They integrate their cultural wisdom through everyday life. Hence, I have written differences of Western and Aboriginal pedagogy in my journal. For my Week 3 topic, I've written knowledge of community engagement. By researching my chosen school, Ngurrampaa High, for Assessment 1, I was able to better understand on how to navigate through school websites on what is actively happening for Aboriginal education. And it also gave me insight into what schools are actually implementing, such as yarning circles. This topic also proved to me how significant and important it is to have community engagement. It fosters a holistic approach. It has improved outcomes. It also creates respect and recognition for Aboriginal education as well as cultural relevance to ensure that these programs are sensitive to Aboriginal students. For my Week 4 topic, I've written racism awareness. So although I am aware that racism is prevalent within schools and within Australia, reading real life scenarios really demonstrated to me that it's still very much an issue that is happening and needs to be resolved. Racism is shown in schools by stereotyping and prejudice, discriminatory practices, cultural insensitivity, bullying and harassment, low expectations and opportunities for these students, under representation, as well as language and cultural barriers. So it is very much still within schools and is an issue that definitely needs to be resolved and looked into further. Following the Week 4 topic of racism, for Week 5, I've written addressing actions and behaviours. So many statistics like to represent Aboriginal people in a distasteful manner, with many being incarcerated or showing low performance within education. Instead of acknowledging this, we should look further than someone's actions and behaviours. So although someone might behave in a distasteful manner, it's important to delve deeper and understand why it's happening and not just addressing that it is happening. And we might find that it probably relates to having that lost connection to country and identity. So for the next topic, I've written reconciling Aboriginal and Western pedagogy, and this is the topic I've chosen to annotate a bit more deeply as I feel it will be the most beneficial for my teaching. So by this I mean connecting Aboriginal pedagogy to Western education. So for example, using the outdoors nature to learn rather than reading from a book. This can be a lot more engaging for students. I can do this through incorporating their knowledge systems, their histories, their languages, and their traditions, fostering meaningful relationships and partnerships with the communities, and creating culturally responsive teaching strategies that honour diverse learning styles and worldviews. An example could also be in history classes, instead of solely teaching European and colonial perspectives, I can integrate Indigenous perspectives to provide a more holistic understanding. Additionally, incorporating Indigenous languages, art and literature into English classes promotes linguistic and cultural diversity, as well as validating Indigenous ways of knowing and learning. Incorporating yarning circles is another way of utilising Aboriginal pedagogy. I think it's a great way to create discussion as it feels less pressured, a bit more laid back, therefore allowing for students, especially those of Aboriginal heritage, to feel more at home. By centering Aboriginal pedagogy, Western education can become more inclusive, equitable, and effective in meeting the needs of all students, which is my aim as a teacher. In the next topic, it was made aware to me of how significant it is to understand that additional resources must be appropriate. This can be deciphered by the AIAT SIS pyramid. Ideally, at the top, resources by the mob are most relative, followed by partnering and working on behalf of Aboriginal people, which emphasises the importance of community engagement and how beneficial it can be in ensuring these programs are ethical and respectful. Week 8 focused on language. It holds the key to kinship systems and is formed in many ways. In summary, it is not just a means of communication for Aboriginal people, but it is a vital aspect of their cultural identity, connection to land, preservation of knowledge, self-determination and healing. And it is essential for promoting Aboriginal education. In one of our last topics, one of our readings discussed Yumi Deadly Maths, which is a great beneficial educational program designed to improve the mathematical skills of Indigenous Australian students. We are aware that there is a major gap in academic outcomes in this sector of education for Aboriginal and Western students. This program utilises a range of strategies such as hands-on activities, visual aids, storytelling and connections to real-life situations to allow for more meaningful engagement for Indigenous students. Last, I've written the Aboriginal 8 ways of learning which tie in each topic and what Aboriginal pedagogy means. It involves learning maps, story sharing, community links, symbols and images, non-verbal, land links, non-linear, and deconstructing and reconstructing. Overall, it is a culturally responsive framework for education that respects Indigenous knowledge, engages Indigenous learners, and improves educational outcomes by incorporating Indigenous ways of knowing, teaching, and learning.